This is NBC Palm Springs.
We do feel it's important to vaccinate children. All you need to do is go to the pediatric hospitals around the country. More kids are getting infected. And as more kids get infected, some of them, maybe a small proportion, are going to have a serious outcome.
The FDA officially authorizes Pfizer's COVID vaccine for kids 5 to 11. Kids could start getting shots as early as next week. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Gene Lamont. Let's get right to that top story tonight. It's the day many parents have been waiting for. 28 million kids now eligible to receive the vaccine. It's a 1/3 size of the adult dose, but kids will need to get 2 shots. Our Regina Ureta live in studio with local reaction to today's approval. Regina.
Gino, there's still one more step in the process. The CDC has to greenlight the emergency use authorization. They're expected to do that next week on Tuesday, which means shots could go into arms as early as Wednesday.
Pfizer can start shipping vaccine doses for those younger kids 5 to 11 because the FDA just granted emergency use authorization. There could be shots in arms as soon as Wednesday if the CDC greenlights the vaccine.
This is a great day for the health and well-being of children.
Vaccine mandates for adults are the hot button issue right now. A CDC study of 7,000 people hospitalized with COVID-like illness states we now have additional evidence that reaffirms the importance of COVID-19 vaccines, even if you had prior infection. Vaccination can provide a higher, more robust and more consistent level of immunity. In Oakland, California, the school board votes to unenroll currently eligible but unvaccinated kids over the age of 12 come January 1st or teach them online only. A decision that angered anti-vaxxers, but there could be more vaccine debates to come. Earlier this month, Governor Gavin Newsom mandated vaccines for all students and staff once the vaccines get full approval, not just approval for emergency use.
We already mandate 10 vaccines. You want to go after someone, go after me. Don't go after school board members. Don't go after these innocent folks that are just trying to do the right damn thing. I mean that. We're better than that. Our kids are watching.
In Rancho Mirage, residents were split on the issue.
Yes, I think it's wonderful. I think that we've been fully vaccinated ourselves, and I think it's the only answer.
And I think it's going to ruin their systems.
Some say the vaccine is being underestimated for how valuable it is for kids and their health against this virus. But others are more wary and think, despite what experts say, that the vaccine is a bigger risk for children than catching the virus.
I don't see it going to help the children.
The White House and the state of California say they already have a plan in place for distributing vaccines to children.
We asked all 3 local public school districts where they stand on vaccine mandates. Desert Sands and Palm Springs Unified said they'll defer to the state when the time comes. But both districts say they'll continue to offer vaccine clinics for students and staff. Coachella Valley Unified did not get back to us. Reporting in studio for NBC Palm Springs, I'm Regina Ureta.
All right, thank you, Regina. Quick check your local COVID numbers, and they continue to be very high. 458 new cases reported in the past 24 hours, and 17 more people have died in Riverside County from COVID-19. And a blow to the anti-vax LAPD officers. The federal judge denies a request from a group of officers to block the city from imposing its vaccination mandate for city employees. The judge's decision says the officers failed to show the city's requirements for exemption requests had caused any actual harm to the workers. Representatives for the city say they're confident the mandate will stay in place because similar mandates have been upheld in courts across the country. Meanwhile, the Supreme Court denies a request to block a Maine rule requiring certain healthcare employees to be fully vaccinated. A group of unvaccinated workers argued the mandate violates their religious liberty rights. Over the past few months, the justices have also declined to strike down vaccine mandates at Indiana University and New York City schools.
Coronavirus coverage brought to you by East Valley COVID-19 testing site, serving residents of eastern Coachella Valley.
Well, you may recall that earlier this week, we told you garbage removal fees are expected to increase about 40% in the city of Palm Springs, and that'll start in January. What's also increasing? Rent. Far exceeding the annual 2 to 3% annual increase that would be more typical. Our Kamari Esquera joins us live from the Satellite Center with more. So trash collection's going up, food prices are up, gas is up, and now rent is going up as well. Kamari?
That is right, Gino. It's almost hard to believe how expensive it is just to live. Everything is getting more and more expensive, making it harder for some people to get by.
Rent is up. One-bedroom rent prices are up about 30%. Two-bedroom rent prices are up about 10%.
The cost of living is getting even more costly as rent in Palm Springs is at an all-time high this year.
Rent prices do slowly climb up year over year, but really not to the level we're seeing right now.
The average price to rent currently in Riverside County is $1,800 per month. And if you're in Palm Springs, you can expect that price to be higher. And that's not including other expenses like electricity, water, gas, and sanitary waste. Bills that continue to increase year after year.
If the rent is going up 20%, but your income is only going up 5%, you know, who's going to make up the difference? It just isn't reasonable to expect people to pay that amount of rent.
With housing being people's largest monthly expense and incomes remaining stagnant, if not decreasing, it's impossible for many to get by.
The number one reason that folks are entering homelessness is because they can't afford their rent. Wages just do not suffice to keep folks housed.
It isn't just the homeless that need housing, it's the working poor that need housing and the working population in general.
Right now, Riverside County, Lift to Rise, and Inland SoCal United Way are operating a county-wide rental assistance program for Riverside County residents who need help paying their rent.
To date, we've dispersed more than $90 million in rental assistance and kept more than 13,000 folks housed, which is more than 52,000 people. And there still is a lot of resource available for us to disperse across the next year.
Along with seeking financial assistance, experts also encourage the community to advocate for affordable housing at city council meetings.
We have to radically shift the way that our society and our communities operate so that folks can stay housed. This isn't like I can work myself out of this. We have to structurally change the way that we invest in our community. Folks can show up and participate and help shape a path so that we have more affordable housing in the future.
To apply for the United Lift Renters Assistance, go to unitedlift.org. Live in the Satellite Center, Kamari Esquera, NBC Palm Springs.
All right, this is just into our newsroom. Palm Springs Police is investigating an armed bank robbery at the City Bank on East Palm Canyon Drive. This man caught on surveillance video, and police say he is the suspect. They tell us that he showed a handgun while demanding money from the bank teller. He made off with the money. No word yet on how much he got away with. He ran away. Palm Springs Police Department and the FBI are both looking into this. And of course, if you have any information that could help the FBI or Palm Springs Police Department, please call 760-327-1441. Again, breaking news just into our newsroom. Bank robbery in Palm Springs. This man is who they are looking for. Quick check outside. Curtis Virago calling to Casino Cam. Let's check in with Jerry Steffen about that all-important weekend forecast.
Well, the last couple of days, we had above average temps for the Coachella Valley. That warm trend will continue one more day before the numbers begin to slip a little bit, but plenty of sunshine for the weekend. Dry air, too, with the northeasterly flows still turning onshore and keeping those dew points low. But November looks like it's going to be a mild first week with temperatures that'll be at or slightly below average. As far as temps tonight, like last night, temperatures will bottom out in the 60s. Some 50s up north and around the San Gorgonio Pass tonight. Radar and satellite again quiet over Southern California. Not a whole lot going on. We do have a little bit of a change heading our way. Tomorrow, tropical pressure well to the north will bring an onshore flow and a marine layer west of the mountains. We'll see some clouds to begin the day there. But for us, lots of sunshine and mild temperatures. Still some low 90s expected for the Coachella Valley. Upper 80s as well with dew points in the 40-degree range by the middle of tomorrow afternoon. Highs tomorrow include 91 degrees at Palm Springs and Thousand Palms. A sunny 90 at Indio, 80s up north, upper 70s, low 80s around the San Gorgonio Pass. And then Sunday, temperatures will come down a little bit. A Comfort Air 3-day forecast puts Palm Springs under mostly sunny skies and a Halloween high of 86 degrees. The first day of November, extra clouds move in, 84 degrees for the high. Full forecast in 7-day on the way.
Masks are no longer required in the city of Palm Springs at large-scale outdoor events. The city council voted unanimously to end that mandate. However, masks and proof of full vaccination or a recent negative COVID-19 test will still be required for indoor settings. The city says they made the decision because compliance at those outdoor events was low anyways. Palm Springs is looking at 7 locations for homeless navigation centers. The proposed center will address the lack of resources currently provided, such as semi-permanent housing, food distribution, and full support services. 2 sites were suggested by the city manager, one Desert Highland Gateway community, the other on Ramon Road near Palm Springs International Airport. The council will revisit the discussion November 5th at their next meeting. Demands for an investigation into Riverside County Sheriff Chad Bianco are gaining momentum. The Palm Springs City Council votes to redraft a letter in support of the ACLU's investigation request into Bianco's tenure as sheriff. Some of the causes for concern, according to the ACLU, include a high rate of in-custody deaths, increased number of fatal deputy-involved shootings, failure to protect inmates from COVID-19, and the Sheriff's Association with the anti-government militia organization, the Oath Keepers.
3, 2, 1,
Pride Week in Palm Springs kicked off at Desert Regional Medical Center this morning. 4 frontline medical staff members, a part of the LGBTQIA community, unfurl a giant pride flag from the top of the historic Sturgis building. In attendance at this annual event were the notable Palm Springs City Council members, hospital staff, and proud residents of that area.
Maybe a decade ago, we had to tailor everything that we are and what we do in our workplace. We are transitioning to a place where not only welcomes but celebrates our diversity and celebrates our identity.
The 30-foot pride flag will remain in place until the end of Pride festivities, which is a week from Sunday. And you can catch NBC Palm Springs at the Palm Springs Pride Parade Sunday, November 7th at 10 a.m. Hope you can join us for the celebration. Coming up next, what President Biden calls a clumsy deal as he heads to Europe on a 5-day G20 summit trip, and what happens to the Build Back Better plan while he's away. We'll have an update. Plus, why the Trump administration's zero-tolerance immigration policy could lead to millions of federal dollars in migrants' families' pockets. And, of course, it is Friday Night Lights. Brandy Flores, live report coming up with all the action that you can expect on the gridiron tonight. You're watching NBC Palm Springs. See the difference. President Biden on damage control ahead of the G20 summit this weekend. He's attempting to gather support from other world leaders on issues like climate change, while his own agenda at home hangs in the balance. Wendy Woolfolk reports.
As the president prepares for the international spotlight this weekend, a warm reception for the first couple from Pope Francis. Well-timed before a difficult meeting with French President Emmanuel Macron, the first face-to-face visit between the two leaders after the fallout between Paris and Washington over the deal with nuclear submarines and Australia.
What happened was, to use an English phrase, what we did was clumsy. It was not done with a lot of grace.
While taking the world stage, the president has yet to strike a deal on his own sweeping social and climate agenda at home. The House postponed any vote on a bipartisan infrastructure bill until next week, after progressives refused to support it amid a standoff over the larger $1.75 trillion spending bill.
Clearly, to my mind, it has some major gaps in it.
More pressure as the president wants to rally commitments from world leaders on issues like COVID, climate change, and helping the poor.
What will the team around Biden do next? What other meetings could they set up going beyond the G20 and Glasgow?
Tricky political maneuvering while the first-term president struggles to make progress at home and abroad. Wendy Woolfolk, NBC News.
A Capitol police officer charged in the January 6th insurrection resigns from the force. Michael A. Riley pled not guilty early this month to 2 counts of obstruction of justice in trying to help a rioter during the insurrection. Prosecutors say Riley told someone online to take down incriminating photos and videos of the attack off social media. Riley's lawyers say it's not a felony for one person to suggest to another to take down ill-conceived Facebook posts. For a second time, the Biden administration is trying to end the Trump-era Remain in Mexico policy. That policy forced non-Mexican migrants to stay in Mexico until their immigration court date could be set in the U.S. It was suspended at the beginning of Biden's term, but in August, a federal judge ruled the administration ended the program improperly and was required to restore it. Opponents of the policy say it forced tens of thousands of migrants to wait months, if not years, in squalid conditions and under the threat of extortion, sexual assault, and kidnapping. Migrant family members who were separated at the border could receive settlements from the Department of Justice. The government is considering payments of $450,000 per individual affected. The so-called zero-tolerance policy under the Trump administration resulted in more than 3,000 children being separated from their families. Quick check outside now. Christopher Agua Caliente. Cam, the weekend is here, and Jerry's going to tell us all about it coming up. Live look now, courtesy of our Walter Clark Highway 111 cam, where the sun is setting on another gorgeous desert day. Let's check in with Jerry Steffen for the latest.
Well, the last couple of days in the Coachella Valley have been just awesome. We saw temps that were above average in the 90s, including yesterday, 94 degrees the high. Keep in mind the normal high this time of year is 87 degrees. We will see the Coachella Valley slip to that number in just a couple of afternoons. Radar and satellite imagery over Southern California quiet. Not a whole lot going on here. We did have high pressure, which hung on one more day to bring us those above average numbers. Overnight lows, slightly above average in that department with lots of 60s, some 50s up north and to our west tonight. Now, temperatures slip a little bit, but still slightly above average on Saturday. We do have a trough of low pressure to the north, which will bring us a light onshore flow. Also a marine layer west of the mountains that'll clear out by the afternoon. But low 90s on Saturday under mostly sunny skies for the Coachella Valley. Along the coast, a little cooler. Upper 60s, low 70s, but inland temperatures slightly above normal. Lots of 90s, 91s, and 92s under mostly sunny skies on Saturday afternoon. Now on Halloween, the 31st, this Sunday, that trough will move through Southern California. It's a weak front, no rain associated with it, but it will bring an onshore flow that will get a little gusty at times and temperatures that'll slip to the mid to upper 80s for highs under mostly sunny skies. That includes 86 degrees Palm Springs, 87 degrees, mostly sunny skies at Indio. And then on Monday, still some middle 80s, but mostly cloudy conditions for the first day of November. Surface moisture, it moves up a little bit as you move into the weekend, but still relatively dry as you move into early next week. Lots of sunshine earlier today, and that'll be the case over Saturday and Sunday, but just a little bit of high cloud cover. Clouds will really be enforced on Monday. We won't see rain with this, but that all clears up by Tuesday afternoon. Comfort Air 7-day forecast, 91 degrees tomorrow, still slightly above average for your Saturday afternoon. Normal numbers beginning on Sunday. We'll see mostly sunny skies, 86 degrees, mostly cloudy Monday, 84, then a string of middle 80s for highs for the first full week of November.
NBC Palm Springs Sports Desk brought to you by Agua Caliente Casinos. We have your game. NBC Palm Springs Sports Desk brought to you by Agua Caliente Casinos. We have your game.
Welcome back to the show, everyone. I'm Brandy Flores. Man, the high school football season went by so fast. Tonight marks the last week of the regular season for the teams here in our valley. And tonight we have 2 games, one in each league, that will decide who will be crowned the title of league champs. I'm here at Indio High School, where they're getting ready to host Coachella Valley in the annual Battle of the Bell game. And tonight's matchup is not just about a rivalry and who's going to win it. Whoever wins this game tonight will be crowned the Desert Valley League champs. It's been over 50 years since the Bell game has decided the winner of the DVL, and Indio has surprised everyone this season with their new head coach, Daniel Hayes, who has clearly done a great job at putting this program in the winning column. Meanwhile, Coachella Valley has the talent and a whole lot of fight this season. They're coming off a huge win over Cathedral City, another dominant DVL team this year. The Bell game is one of the longest running high school rivalry football games in the state. So if I were you, I'd get down here to Indio High School to catch some of the action. It should be a great game. And if you're not at this game, I hope you make it out to the other high school football games going on in the DVL tonight. Cathedral City and 29 Palms both need a win tonight, as the top 3 in each league will move on to the playoffs. Another game in our valley also decides who will become league champs. As I mentioned, this time for the DEL, it's Xavier Prep versus Palm Springs. In case you missed it last night, Palm Desert beat Shadow Hills in an insane double overtime win, 17-14. So because that game went into overtime, it does affect the league standings. There are a couple of different scenarios. The Aztecs, Knights, and Saints were all tied for first place ahead of the final week of the regular season, with the Aztecs overtime win yesterday. And since they have beat both the Saints and the Knights, if Palm Springs beats Xavier in regulation, then PD is the outright champs for the 5th year in a row. And if Xavier Prep wins in regulation or overtime, they will share the DEL title with Palm Desert. Either way, PD will either share the title or be solo with the crown. And later at 6 o'clock, I have an entire breakdown of CIF playoffs for each league, because it is definitely mind-boggling. So if you are confused, be sure to tune in here later at 6. And of course, tonight for Friday Night Lights at 11 o'clock. Until then, reporting live from Indio High School, I'm Brandy Flores, NBC Palm Springs.
That's going to do it for us for this half hour. Nightly news with Lester Holtz coming up next. We're back here at 6 o'clock with all your local news, sports, and weather. And of course, when I say sports on Friday, we're talking about Friday Night Lights. That and more coming up. We'll see you then.